We're going to use the even root property to solve this equation. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides, and I have 2x squared equals negative 5. I'm going to divide 2 on both sides, and I have x squared equals negative 5 over 2. And then I'm going to take the square root of both sides. I'll show my work here in pink. And on the left hand side, those cancel. And on the right hand side, I have plus or minus the square root of negative 5 halves. Now, the even root property applies because I took an even root of both sides. And on the right hand side, we're not simplified because there's still a negative under the radical, and there's still a square root of 2 on the bottom. So what we'll do is we'll first pull out the negative as a imaginary number, so that's an I. That's because of this negative right here. Now I still need to rationalize this denominator because I'm not allowed to leave a radical in the denominator. So let's move the screen up. Now, what we're going to have is, by the quotient rule, this is the square root of 5 over the square root of 2. Don't lose that I, it's running around. And I'm going to change colors here. Now I have a pink, and I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 1, square root of 2. And remember, I'm allowed to do that because this pink box right here, that's just the number 1. You're allowed to multiply anything by the number 1. So on the left, we still have the x equals, let's change to white. And on the right, I still have the plus or minus. And on the top, you have the square root of 5 times the square root of 2. And by the product rule, you can put those under the same radical. And it becomes the square root of 10 on top. And I'll show that in a minute. And on the bottom, I have the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, which becomes the square root of 4. Now don't forget your I. Let's scroll the screen up. So on the left hand side, I'll have the x. On the right hand side, I have the plus or minus square root of 10 over, now square root of 4 is 2. Now that's rational. That's why we did that, because we had to rationalize the denominator. Here, this number right here, square root of 2, is not rational, and we're not allowed to leave an irrational number on the bottom. Don't ask why, that's irrational. But we're allowed to leave a 2 on the bottom. Oh, don't forget the I. Now we can box our answer in. This is the answer. X equals plus or minus square root of 10 over 2I. And it's sufficient to leave that as plus or minus, although you'll see some books would answer it in 2 separate problems. So square root of 10 over 2I, comma, negative square root of 10 over 2I. Notice these are 2 separate answers, and when we answer it the first way here, what we're doing is just being a little bit lazy by using that plus minus symbol.